Hey guys, welcome back to Hidden Northeast. I'm Brent.
This is Nick.
And we right now are in front of the trails for a place called the Blunders. This is a place where in 1675 King Philip's war was fought between the colonists and the Wampanoag tribes. King Philip himself actually hid out in here to avoid being killed. There's certainly a lot to learn on these trails as we go about this war, King Philip's war, and also this area apparently has some interesting features. So I'm pretty excited to check out what it has to offer, and this is going to be another really off the beaten path place that you may not find on Google Maps, or it's not very well known, so that's why we're going to have it in our Hidden Northeast.
Yeah, so the story starts why this is significant because in 1675 there was 50 militiamen that took aim at 5 Wampanoag women that were picking seeds just a little bit south of here. About a quarter mile south, there's a field where material sand and stone currently is right now. So this was the second battle of King Philip's War. And what happened is they fought from dawn to dusk here, and King Philip was here with his tribe of Wampanoags. So they call it the Blunders because at the end of the day, the colonists decided not to keep pursuing them, to retreat both ends back to their bases. And it is Native American folklore that if they had pursued him, that he would have been cornered and that he was going to give up the war then and there. That this day, in 1675, he was ready to give it up and call off the war because it was still so early, there wasn't even many losses. Keep in mind, it was the second conflict of the whole war. And altogether, there were dozens of conflicts and thousands of deaths. King Philip's War also, by the end of it, was the biggest conflict really ever because it had the highest per capita death in the country. Meaning, the population was so low, the thousands that did die was a bigger percentage than anything else. And right now, so this was a little bit later, because this area has always been somewhat populated. See how there's swamp on both sides? If you look to the sides, it's actually cribbed up with rock. See these rocks? Look at how long this rock is. So they allow the water to pass underneath. This is probably 1700s.
Oh yeah.
There's a horse and carriage.
You can see right here, it's clearly a man-made structure.
Yeah, all these rocks. So that's man-made.
Look at this.
Now let's get horses over here.
Now, is there a cave in here somewhere?
Yeah, so basically the cave is to your left is at least one of them. I know there's multiple.
How deep do they go in?
They go in like, enough to put like King Philip and like 10 Wampanoag warriors probably. So there's that one. Is that a cave you consider or what?
No, I was kind of thinking more of something that you can go like inside.
No, there's one over there. I mean, you could fit like a small militia in these caves.
I mean, definitely you can, hide people here for sure.
All right, so as we can see, look, more stone over here that was cribbed up for this swamp. So this is an old road for horse and carriage, okay? So we get this way. We start to see more stone.
Now, that looks like a cave. That's what I want to go check out.
So go check out that cave.
All right, guys, I'm going to walk up here and see what this is. Oh, there are a lot of bugs, for sure. Oh. All right, how deep does this one go? Wow, okay. So this one actually goes pretty deep. There's even a little space underneath. Let me get the flashlight and see what's over here. All right, guys, right now I'm in the cave at the Blunders. This is a big one. One of the bigger caves I've actually seen in Rhode Island. Nick, this is deep. So let's take a look at the flashlight, see what we got in here. There are a lot of bugs in here, but that's really cool. Now let's see what's under this little chamber over here, how deep this goes. There's so many crane flies. Oh my God, it really does go deep, Nick. Like,
yeah, I'm looking at it.
You can crawl deep in there.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to go down there.
I'm just seeing how actually deep this goes. This is the first like really deep cave I've seen in Rhode Island. Whoa, there are giant flies in here. It still even goes further. If you continue to squeeze down it takes a right turn and it goes even deeper. I would love to come back with like better equipment and go in there. That's one of the deepest caves I've ever seen in Rhode Island. That's a real cave. Wow. I'm wearing shorts. I can't go much further. I want to see how deep that is. All right. I got to come back here when I'm wearing pants and actual caving equipment. That's how crazy this is. Wow. Nick.
So there wasn't a legit cave
Nick,
there, huh?
go take a look.
I'm a little afraid. I don't know.
Go down and take a look inside there. That goes, it takes a right turn. The cave takes a right turn and it continues on. You can get down there. That's the biggest cave I've ever seen in Rhode Island.
Yo, I don't want to see that. That's freaking me out.
Why?
I don't want to be under these rocks.
Look up there. Look up there. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I don't like being under these rocks. You don't get claustrophobia doing this?
I mean, that was the biggest cave I've ever seen in Rhode Island. I'd love to go deeper in.
To the right, though, can you fit a person?
I don't know. I wish I knew how far deep it went to the right. But it goes to the right. I'm sure you could squeeze in. This reminds me of the Devil's Den in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, how they had a chamber like that. Now, the cave at Rocky Point and Dinosaur Cave are two other very large caves, but they don't have, Dinosaur Caves and Rocky Point Cave don't have the same kind of like twisty chamber like that.
Yeah.
This was a legit chamber. That's insane how that goes in like that.
I know, we're lucky we found that.
All right, so Nick's going up there. I'm gonna follow him. Apparently, there used to be a zip line or something up here back in the day. I think people really utilize these trails much more and they've kind of become overgrown. So let's see what's up. Oh, this is a steep hill. Oh. Okay. Whew.
We're gonna go to the top in a second, just catching my breath.
That's steep. I love hiking in this kind of weather too. Whew. I see something over there. This is actually a big workout.
Yeah.
I see there's
So, see this?
yeah.
This milk crate's been here, like, I came here like 12 years ago. There was this milk crate. They had this little green rug, and that tarp was set up like a tent. And so, you know, kids had a little fort up here. Not historical, but...
There's a wall too. You see the little stone wall?
Yep, see an old stone wall. I don't know how recent that might have been or if it's historical, but see that blue tarp on the ground?
Yep.
That was a tent recently, but we can go up a little bit more. I think the zip line might be up there if it's still there.
I'll follow you. You show me the way. All right. Oh, we're climbing up.
Very top of the hill at the Blunders. There's all these trees are down. I don't, what did they hit this with, a tornado up here? I don't know.
Could it be Bigfoot?
So it looks like a T-Rex rolled through here. All these trees are down and we have weird rock formations that I was talking about.
The boulders.
Yeah, they were talking about there's weird rock formations.
Taking a look at this thing over here. All right, we got some kind of a strange rock formation. Let's just take a quick look at it and see what's over here. Oh, that's crazy how they landed just like that on the ground. So no sign of the zip line anywhere, huh?
No, I'm pretty sure that I can look for it. I bet it's on the ground, but I'm sure it rusted, came off the tree, and down underneath the leaves somewhere.
So this may be the site where the zip line used to be, but it's no longer here. I mean, where would you zip line down from?
It was from, I'm pretty sure it's from this tree to that tree.
Oh, all right.
And I think that might be the mark from where it was.
Okay.
But obviously the trees grow and they bust open the zip line also because the zip line weathers, you know? Or, you know, that's it. I can see it right there. See? Zip line's gone. It was this tree. See?
The snapped one. Oh, yep, I see it.
It was wrapped around the tree. The tree grew and expanded a bit. And that's what's left of the zip line.
Okay.
I had a feeling no one was going to come here and actually unbolt it and everything.
Interesting. Man, it's getting hot, but it's nice. All right, let's climb down this thing, and I want to see where else these trails go. Look how steep this hill is. Whoa! That's a steep hill. Okay, I'm trying to remember which way we got down. Look at these rocks. Okay. If we go this way, I believe we're going to get closer to where the cave was. And this is one of the steepest hills I've ever climbed up and down. Absolutely insane. Okay. Oh. Ooh. Sliding. Oh, okay. Just made it. Whew, all right, guys. That was insane. Going up and down those rocks and into those caves. Take a look at this. Looks like it's some kind of a old well or something. The water's flowing under it. That's interesting. Here, let me try the flashlight. We'll see if we can see anything cool.
Yeah, I can show you what this is about.
So Nick, what is this?
This is water flowing underneath here to deliver it down to that swamp because, as you can see, there's an old road that they built out of stone. It's kind of a bridge. So look right here. See this? You can hear and see water falling under this. Okay, there's something, like there's a piece of like trash or something in there. It'd be cool to pull that out. What is that blue thing? What the hell is that? Something put in there?
I don't know.
I'm gonna grab it. But see the swamp over there? They needed to find a way to get materials through this area. I don't know why they picked this spot, because there's other spots to cross, but for some reason this was significant. But they needed to drain that swamp to down there. So they built this road with all this stone.
Drain the swamp.
Over there, you're gonna see they have a huge buildup of stone that they built to cross this way. Let me see what they're going to do.
All right, what do we got in here? What is this plastic blue item? Imagine if it's essential for the swamp.
Oh, a Zin pack.
Oh, all right, you want some?
Pretty sure it's a Zin pack, and it's not good anymore.
No. At one time it may have been.
Yeah, it wasn't Native American. This is modern. This is like recent.
But it is a Native American product, though.
I guess it is technically. Yeah. So under here the water flows, and let's go to the big bridge.
All right.
So they moved all this stone because they really need to cross this area for some reason. area, if you look over the edge, you can see they built up all this nice, neat stone. They needed to cross cattle or horse and buggy, whatever they were using, through this area. This is the spot they chose, I guess, so that's why they built this here.
I've seen very similar formations to what we're standing on in Lincoln Woods in Lincoln, Rhode Island. So.
Yeah, I guess back in the day it was they needed to cross over marshy, wet areas, and that's how they have to do it, but they built it with stone. So you can see a clear path here. This isn't just a path like ha-ha, hee-hee. This was used heavily in the 1700s. All right, then over here we have another small bridge. Same thing where they built up one side to walk over flat.
Yep, you can see all these structures that are still in here. It's incredible human ingenuity from those ages. So how far in do the Blunders go, Nick?
We're at the Blunders. You gotta remember, the Blunders is that big hill that we went up to get here to the parking spot. And then it's all this collections of hills here. It's a collection of short, steep hills over here on Blunders Way, it's actually called.
Okay.
And they built houses on it about 10 years ago. But that's it's just always had that name because of what happened in the summer.
We're just a big blunder, right?
It's just a big blunder where they didn't get King Philip and they almost got him and ended the war.
So this happened before the Nine Men's Misery and also the King Philip's Cave incident?
This is very early in the war, before they were very well organized.
You're being hunted. Rhode Island's Bigfoot.
You've heard that, right?
Yeah.
Woo, woo, woo.
Yeah, I bet it was Rhode Island's Bigfoot.
Yeah, I guess so.
I think that we're being hunted by Rhode Island's Bigfoot.
Someone keeps going, woohoo! Either there's a slip and slide over there in the woods or somebody's calling out.
Could be the Yahoo.
Could be, yeah, the infamous, that's in the Appalachians, right? So it could
Yep,
be.
yeah. Easily.
All right, so come this way.
Look at these rock formations, how intense and beautiful. There are the caves. I want to see if anything's down here real quick. No, that looks like it dies out pretty quickly. That was really interesting though, I gotta say. So I am very whoa! There's an eagle. He just interrupted my monologue.
What were you saying?
I am very impressed by this place. I didn't think there was going to be a cave like that, and I'd love to go back in with proper caving equipment, like a helmet, because yeah, I don't want to hit my head on the rocks. Yeah. And also I need to wear long sleeves and long pants. But it was cool because it did look like it took a right over there. Would you go in there, Nick?
No, I wouldn't go in, no. Yo, okay, look at that rock. What are those holes in that rock?
Those could be from the melting glacial ice. As the glaciers melted, they could have drained like small holes in the side of the rocks. So
let me go look at it real quick.
Yeah, that's what I think that could be.
Yeah, isn't that kind of odd?
So either someone drilled those by hand for some reason, or I think that was probably from the melting glacial ice during the Ice Age, because New Hampshire has a lot of those in their mountains. That's the same kind of pattern that you would see on like the beach, on like the coastal splashes.
We'll go this way slightly.
Okay.
I can smell somebody grilling. Do you smell that?
Yeah, it could be from a nearby yard.
How far up does it go? Just a weird rock.
It is like pretty much like a mountain.
Yeah.
Look at this tree, how it snapped right here.
Whoa.
That's crazy.
Yep. What's holding up? Not a whole lot.
Well, that could definitely fall down at any moment. You know where I need to go again sometime soon is the Maori Preserve.
Yeah.
I was there during the winter on a hike and I never got to film it during the spring or summer. I think it'll be a different vibe. Look at the way these trees look in the swamp right here. Yeah, beautiful ferns. Ah.
That's kind of a cave right there.
Yeah, let's go take a look at that and see what's in there. If there's anything. I don't think it's gonna go anywhere. No, that's nothing. The biggest cave was out there. Yeah, look at that right there.
Somebody ate it.
Again, it could have been the Bigfoot, right?
It's either one really big bite or a million little small bites. Huh?
Termite. That's what I would imagine. Alright guys, we're finishing up over here at the Blunders. Now there are still some Native American stone structures a little bit further down that I want to go check out. So we're going to get back on the wheels and head across the street to go see what they are. Alright guys, so right now we're going to take a look at these Native American structures near the Blunders area. So Nick is going to show us around. What are we looking at?
I'll explain why it's native and why we know it's native. Here's one, but it's in really poor condition. It's just really eroded. It's just a pile of rocks. But let's go see an actual Native American cairn. I call it C-A-R-A-N, like a stone cairn is what they call them. Let's go see it.
Yeah, you can see that there's all these roads almost. It looks like that they were purposely put here.
Alright, here we go. Come on over here. This is probably a good view.
This one right here, right?
Yeah, well, hold on. We're gonna look at this one, but if you look around, I know there's GoPro zoomed out a bit. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These go all the way out to Route 7 Douglas Pike, and right now we're on Blunders Way, the cul-de-sac.
What's the name of this area that we're at right here?
This is, so the whole area is called the Blunders.
Okay,
remember,
we're
just right across the street from where King Philip was hiding at the Blunders, but they're just this area of hills.
And this was their area where they would live?
We don't know what these are for. I would assume that there's options here, okay? First, let me explain why it's Native American. When I came here with the historian, I said, hey, this is probably colonial because they had to clear this field. This is probably a field, and that they clear it for, you know, horses to graze or cattle to graze. But when you do that, you just clear the rocks enough so that way they can still walk on it and graze. But when you look in here, there's very small rocks. He always said when you see the very small ones, like for instance, like it's sounding crazy, but this exact rock, see this one? When you're piling up rocks just to get animals grazing spaces, you don't put little ones like this. This is probably families of Native Americans, little kids and stuff, putting these rocks in this pile. Because they're small, it means they were just trying to build it up. It wasn't for a purpose of animals grazing. So this exact rock, this shape, was touched by a Native American. This could have been 1,000 years ago, or it could have been during King Philip's wartime in the 1600s. Or it could have been thousands. You don't know how old it is. These might have been organized in very neat squares or something, but over time it gets rained on, it freezes, it expands. If you do like a fast forward, the rocks might be all nice and neat. Thousands of years, they all go like this, and they eventually just ooze out back into the earth. They all spread out just from freezing and thawing over time. Got some bugs on me. So for some reason, these stone cairns start here on Blunders Way, and go all the way out to Route 7 and even across Route 7. So we don't know, was this when they migrated north in the summer? Was this a way to guide them to their planting areas? It could have been ceremonial. We don't know. The natives didn't write anything down. Some people think it's ceremonial, where they would put offerings on these things and do a ceremony during a solstice. You really don't know. There are live Wampanoags today that live on a reservation in South County, but it's just word of mouth that got passed on. So they would probably know best. Maybe they know and maybe they don't, but that's all we can guess for now.
So that was very interesting. So yeah, there's a few other structures here we'll take a look at that are even better condition. This one's in much better condition. Now, I was just thinking how crazy it would be to find an arrowhead or something out here. I mean, they gotta be here, right?
Yeah. I don't know. There's no order to it that I can figure out. Unless if you zoom up into the sky and it's shaped like a horse or some shit. I don't know.
There could be some kind of equinox or solstice significance.
Look at a bunch of carriers. Dude. Look, they're all around here.
Oh yeah. I saw some over here. 2 of them. Look at this one.
I think we might have some type of a wall over here.
Let's see another structure there. Wow.
A lot of the times with stuff like this, there's videos you can see on YouTube, but some of these walls you see are actually effigies. They're not colonial walls. The Native Americans would put up a wall, maybe it's 100 feet long, and they'll put like a snake head on it, but it'll just be a stone wall with larger stones, and they put a snake head, and you know it's Native American because in the wall there's a niche, which is like a little flat stone to put an offering. They would usually on a solstice or something, or for whatever, their spirits to listen to them, they'd put an offering of meat or something on the stone wall, and they'd do some type of song or something, and that's what it was. It was a snake effigy. The snake represented the underworld, and that's how they conducted their ceremonies.
And you can see up there too, it looks like that the wall even went further that way.
Yeah, let's go look at it. I'm saying that because this is a Native American area, all this stuff I'm going to question, is this supposed to be a snake effigy or something like that? You can see videos on YouTube. In Massachusetts, they have an area with a real snake effigy you can see. A lot of the times too, like if you look at these stones, like it's tough to describe. So this looks like it's just from erosion, like water erosion. You can see videos of people that find even ancient Native American stones. They'll have, it almost looks like the Harry Potter symbol. They'll show a river on a stone. They actually chisel it out, and it'll be for navigation to show where water is. But there's been ancient Native American stones that get discovered that show this. And when we say Native American, we always think about the 1600s and the colonists. They were here for a very long time before that. And if you're looking for it, sometimes you can find what they left behind.
Really cool. That rock placed right there too, I bet was something. So these 2 rocks, I placed one here and one here.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't find that picture.
There's even something small over there. This could have been some kind of like a ceremony grounds or something. You got another small one there. Wow. This is like some kind of a significant village.
We won't go over there, but I can see a very long wall that's probably Native American, but I'm pretty sure it's private property. We're not going to go there, but I would love to investigate any walls here. I really like investigating the walls, figure out if it's colonial. or if it's native. And there's a lot of signs you can tell if it is or not.
I've heard that the colonists would actually hide valuables in some of these stone walls, these colonial stone walls at least.
I would imagine, because when you didn't have much materials, you worked with stones a hell of a lot more than we do now.
Yeah.
And it's crazy that they actually left all these behind for us, because it takes a while to build them, but when you're done with the farm, you really don't demolish them. You're not going to put that work into it for no reason. So yeah, let's go back to the van.
All right, guys, so we're going to walk back out of the woods now from the Native American structures that surround us here at the Blunders. Really cool. So again, this area, it's called the Blunders because during King Philip's War, the colonists really could not get King Philip. He was hiding somewhere in the woods, probably out in that cave. But you can definitely see where the natives would live or worship the religions out here. So really cool. I'm happy you guys tuned in for another episode of Hidden Northeast. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and there's going to be a lot more where this came from. Thank you very much for your support, and happy hiking.